This is the EVP Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another episode of the EVP Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Beaker.
And I am one of your hosts, Ghosty.
And that's it.
Yeah, that was pretty strong, coming in strong.
It was, and then I fudged it all up.
Dropped it all.
So we want to thank the Madam Hicks.
Thanks, Madam Hicks.
For being here last week. We really appreciate you. We do have plans for her to be back because she's got, like she said last week,
the gift of gab.
Yeah.
Like I cut you off all the time?
No.
Yes, you do.
Dead air. She is researching Lake Tahoe and another lake. I don't remember what the lake was. But she mentioned them, and if you have stories of those places, send them to us.
Up in the Tahoe area,
Yeah.
so you know where that is.
evp.pod@gmail.com. Send us your stories of Lake Tahoe. We will have Madam Hicks back for a future episode on that lake. But did you know, our good friend Zach, he commented on the last episode.
And
he said, great episode, guys, and Madam Hicks. I definitely got weird vibes from some hospitals around here. Keep in mind, he doesn't live in Utah. He lives West Virginia.
which is already creepy.
He's somewhere.
Where it's creepy.
Zach, I'm sorry if I forgot where you live. And he says you can see the point about everyone who has passed, the workers and the families of patients being something to lure negative energy to the spot.
Yes. Hospitals are creepy as
Hospitals I don't like hospitals, man.
So,
I don't like them.
this week, where are we going?
Utah?
We're staying in Utah. You know why? Because there's a bunch of haunted shit here.
Yeah, you know what? Ghost Adventures has probably been to Utah more than any other
state, you think?
Any other state.
They have been here. They've been here
They've
quite
been
a
here
bit.
a lot.
They
You got a lot of haunted shit.
They probably have timeshares here now.
Probably. Well, he doesn't live too far away. I mean, he lives in Vegas.
Yeah, that is actually really close.
So-
and Vegas is pretty much the only thing happening in Nevada besides the Nevada State Prison.
Yeah. One of the Clown Motel.
Yeah.
And then
But it's all generalized in one little area.
Yeah. One area. So we're going to the Great Salt Lake. More importantly, Saltair.
The Saltair.
The Saltair.
The Great Saltair.
Did you know that the current Saltair, this is actually the third iteration?
I do know this. I've heard of the Great Saltair, the past ones burning down and everything. I've heard about all that.
They're cursed.
Cursed, I tell you.
According to people on the internet.
Yeah, if bad things happen to something, it's cursed.
Yeah, cursed.
Cursed. Doesn't have anything to do with science.
Want to know why it's cursed?
Why?
Because it was built
On salt.
on a salt lake. No, so the first one was built in 1893.
So, first off, the Great Salt Lake here in Utah, if you're not from Utah,
Yeah, it's pretty great.
it is great, and it is salty.
Yeah, it's a
Saltier, like 7 times saltier than the ocean.
Yeah.
So nothing can live in there besides sea monkeys.
Sea monkeys or brain shrimp.
So,
Nothing
just so you
can
know,
grow
and
there.
it's actually the largest body of water west of the Mississippi.
Yes.
So everyone can kind of generalize that. You can see it from space, it's that big.
Yep.
If you didn't know, now you know.
Did you know that there's one random ass part? And so this giant salt lake, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Great Salt Lake. There's a random spot that you can actually get to where it's like fresh water.
Is it a hot spring or something right there?
I don't know. It's like in the lake. But
Interesting.
yeah, it's like there's one random spot that is just like fresh water.
So if there is a water monster
It's
there, that's where it would
anomaly.
be.
Yeah. We'll get to water monsters.
Yeah, we'll get there later.
So the first Saltair, built in 1893, it was a joint collaboration with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or the Mormons, and Salt Lake and Los Angeles Railways. So they constructed this giant, like, amusement park
Yeah.
on the lake.
Yep. On
Not near
stilts.
it. Not near it. On it.
Because that's where it's happening. Boardwalks. They were learning from the East Coast. The boardwalks are where it's happening.
Well, that was the thing, is that they wanted, when they built this, they wanted a place that was a fun, wholesome place for the members of the church to go and have a good time
And dance.
and dance. But they also wanted to show that they're like not weirdos, right?
Yeah, like we have fun too. Look at us.
So-
We can swing our hips.
So they built this giant amusement park, and it was actually the largest amusement park on the West Coast. and it's said to have rivaled Coney Island in New York.
So this is what they called it, the Coney Island of the West. But from what I just read today, that was an overstatement.
Was it?
That's what they say. That was an overstatement. I imagine Coney Island being pretty massive, and this is just being, like, imagine, I'm thinking Santa Monica Boardwalk.
Isn't Coney Island still around?
Yeah, it is. It is huge. It's pretty big. Where this kind of looks more like, like the Santa Monica Pier. It's, not that, it wouldn't be that big as Coney Island. It's just a small portion, but I guess it was the only thing happening out here. So, yeah, sure was the Coney Island of the West. But, don't compare it.
Yeah, those jerks comparing it. There was a lot of stuff. So the Mormon Church actually owned it until 1906, when they sold it to a group of private Mormon businessmen. The architect of Saltair was Richard K.A. Koletting, and he was Utah's foremost architect at the turn of the century and designer of the Utah State Capitol building.
Interesting.
So I'm in a food coma.
Yeah, we just got done eating a bunch of food.
I'm sure that everyone's going to love hearing this. So it opened Memorial Day, 1893. It was officially dedicated on June 8th. Its main attractions were always swimming in the Great Salt Lake, where people could bob around like corks.
Because being 7 times saltier than the ocean, you're not going to sink. You're going to stay up above the water.
25% of the lake is salt.
Yep, that's a ton.
So, yeah, that's why you could just float in the water, basically. Dancing was a big thing there. They had a big dance floor. They had a roller coaster on the lake. I've seen pictures of this. I wish I could go back in time and see this. But yeah, they built like these stilts, and they built an actual functioning roller coaster that was on the lake. They had merry-go-rounds. They had a Ferris wheel. They had like midway games, kind of like you said, Santa Monica.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I picture when I think of this.
They had bicycle races, and they had touring. I can't read. They had rodeos. They had bullfights. I'm just gonna skip that one because I don't know what it says. Boat rides on the lake and firework displays and hot air balloons.
And say, and more.
And more. They had a bunch of stuff. It reached its peak in popularity in 1920. They were getting about 500,000 people every year visiting this place.
I bet you there was a big train stop right there, huh? That's
so
how
there
the
was.
railways, huh?
Well, that's why when they first opened up, when the Mormon Church partnered with that railway, there was actually a railway that took people from Salt Lake, because this is about 16 miles west of Salt Lake.
Yeah, before automobiles, of course.
Yeah, because
horse rides would take forever.
Yeah, I mean, people did take their wagon trains and stuff out there, but that's why they partnered with the railway. They built a railroad that went from Salt Lake to the Saltair. And in the 1920s, things like the Great Depression hit. You got
right. Nobody's gonna spend their money on fun anymore.
No.
Yeah, they're depressed.
Because the First World War happened, so they were diverting people. Like, they're sending people off to war, so there's like no one to work the place and no one to attend it because war efforts are going on. They don't have the money to go. It ended up in April of 1925. The first one burned to the ground.
Yes. I mean, you can imagine that wood drying out with all that salt.
Yep.
Yeah, it wouldn't take much to light that up.
So the two dudes named Raymond Ashton and Raymond Evans, they ended up designing a new pavilion.
Double raise. Along
the general lines of the original one. It was built next the following year, so 1926. The resort never regained its former popularity. During the 1930s, it had a battle with the effects of the Great Depression. There was a lot of high maintenance costs because of the winds and the salt spray that would eat away at the woods and the paint. It ended up, and then there was in 1931, there was a fire, another fire. We're on our second fire, caused about $100,000 worth of damage.
But they were able to salvage the roller coaster.
They were.
So that roller coaster is actually still operational today at Lagoon, isn't it? Isn't that the wood roller coaster?
No, I don't think so.
Where did that one
come? It might be. I don't know.
I thought it was.
I mean, we did talk about Lagoon at one point.
We did. That might be the roller coaster. I believe it is.
I don't know.
I don't want to Google it, but if somebody does, you can correct me.
I don't think it was. I think that roller coaster at Lagoon was built there at Lagoon.
I don't think so.
I think it was. The waters in the lake started to recede at some point in time. There goes your swimming. The second Saltair, when they rebuilt it, they did have, at the time, I believe it was the world's largest dance floor.
The world's largest?
I think so.
Very cool.
Yeah. I'm just going to make shit up. I don't know. People just go with it.
They also had the world's largest disco ball.
In the 30s.
What else did they have there?
So, the first Saltair, before that one burned down, some of the things that kind of helped make it popular is the town of Usepa.
Usepa?
Yeah.
That doesn't exist anymore, does it?
It's a ghost town. You can still go there.
Interesting.
I've been telling you about it for years.
Usepa.
Usepa. So what Usepa was, just a quick rundown of Usepa. The Mormon church didn't have any like LDS temples in like Hawaii. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the Polynesian people moved here to Utah because they wanted to be close to a temple.
Oh, that's the town's name.
Yeah.
Oh, Little Honolulu.
Yes. So they were racist back then. I'm only assuming because they actually created this little town in Usepa that was about 70 miles, I think, west of Salt Lake. And like I said, you can still get there if you're traveling west on I-80. You can see the signs for it. And I know up until COVID, there was actually an annual like Polynesian festival, like every year there at Usepa. I don't know if that still goes on, but Usepa was a thriving town, and it had its own post office, grocery stores, like everything. It just, that's where they kind of set up shop because people were kind of, I'm just going to say, I'm assuming they were racist, and they didn't want the Polynesian people living here in Salt Lake with them, which is, in my opinion, kind of fucked up.
Yeah, which it's not out of the norm here.
No. So when you have all the people living in Usepa and people in Salt Lake traveling to Saltair, yeah, there's a lot of business. So another thing that kind of helped the first Saltair kind of go out of business and struggle along with the Great Depression is, I think it was, Usepa was around for like 30 years. And it was like the late 20s, early 30s. They finally built an LDS temple in Honolulu, I believe it was. And basically all the Polynesian people picked up and went back to Hawaii. They abandoned the town, basically. So that was another reason why, like, you know, they lost some of the revenue, some of the income is, you know, people went home, more or less.
And then the second one, when after that one burned, they did not rebuild it. It was sometime, how many years later? How many decades later?
They tried to reopen it again. Actually, they tried to reopen it after World War II ended, but they were still facing a lot of the issues because of the war, the Great Depression.
People were too busy making babies after the war.
Well, at this point, there's other entertainment options that were a lot closer to home. The public was no longer in the habit of going all the way out there. So the resort ended up closing officially in 1958, causing the railroad to cease passenger operation at the time, too. So, like, I know they had the big dance floor. I believe at some point they had, like, movie theater or, like, screens there. Mm-hmm. But when you had all of this other stuff that started opening up a lot closer to Salt Lake, Lagoon being one of those things that opened up. Lagoon was a big part of Saltair closing down, the Saltair 2.
Oh, yeah, because that opened around the same time, close to when that ended. So, yeah, I could see that taking all of its...
and then Lagoon actually had, like, a stage, and they were actually getting celebrities to come and perform there. I believe the
Beach Boys. The Beach Boys actually made a song about Lagoon.
They made it, I think...
No, they made a song about Salt Lake City.
They made a song
and
about
they mentioned
Salt Lake.
Lagoon.
Yeah.
Know what they didn't mention? The Saltair.
But you know what they did do?
Surfed.
They took a picture, one of their album covers at Saltair.
Really?
Yeah.
One of their album covers is a Saltair. Amazing.
Let's
I had no
see.
idea.
In pop culture, we're just gonna jump all around. So I actually own this movie that was made in 1962 called Carnival of Souls. Parts of it was actually shot there at Saltair 2.
So I've never watched it. What would you give it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh, it's bad, but it's
okay.
it's actually it's a fun little movie. The plot is just like, it's kind of hard to follow. I bought it just because I wanted to see what Saltair actually looked at the time.
Did it show a lot of the inside of it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Like she's being chased around by like demons and ghosts inside of it. It's kind of cool. Let's see. 1993 film Josh and Sam features scenes at the then dilapidated. I am on a roll.
Vocabulary.
There were scenes of it shot there at Saltair 3. 1960s photo of Saltair 2 was featured on the cover of the bootleg Beach Boys album Unsurpassed Masters, Volume 19. In 1991, the Pixies wrote a song called Palace of Brine. That's a reference to Saltair.
Cool.
There was a music video for Mac Miller. His song Stay was filmed at Saltair 3 as the backdrop. 2021, Ghost Adventures went there. But so back to Saltair 2, they tried to get it going again. They never could. I think at that point, the only thing they really had going for them that other places didn't was the dance floor
and the salt.
They couldn't. It wasn't a money making thing anymore. And so basically, I think it sat abandoned for a while up until November of 1970. Someone set it on fire right in the middle of the big dance floor.
Oh, that was a man-made fire.
Yeah.
Okay. Cursed, I tells ya.
Cursed. So that ended up destroying the main Saltair pavilion. I guess a previous arson fire in September of 1967 had destroyed the concourse, entry gate, concession stands, and various other support structures, but not the main building. So the main building, 3 years later, I'm sure the same person probably went back. Like, I'm going to finish the job. So some son of a bitch decided to burn down part of Utah history.
It always takes one son of a bitch to ruin it.
Yep. So 3, if not 4 fires took this place to burn down. So then we get into Saltair 3.
Which actually is not built in the same location as the first two.
This is about a mile west of the first two.
Right. And then these buildings are all along the south side of the lake.
The thing is like, even though the first 2 Saltairs burnt down, there's still some of the pillars and pylons and stuff, like what the roller coaster was built on and that. They're still there. You can still see them. I haven't gone and seen them.
I haven't either.
But they're there. I know people that have seen them. I've seen pictures of them.
I've seen pictures as well.
I've seen pictures. So, Saltair 3 in 1981 is when that one was built.
But it didn't last very long before the floods came.
Before the floods, yep. So, you know what they built that out of?
Sand.
No.
Just kidding, what?
Yeah, no, it's a big sandcastle. Sandcastle on the beach. On the beach. It kind of looks like a big sandcastle.
Exactly.
So what they did is they took an old airplane hangar from Hill Air Force Base and repurposed it into a concert venue. I don't know if a concert venue was what they were originally going for.
So that's before the building was there? That's what they put there?
Yeah, that building that's there now, that's an airplane hangar. The one we...
Oh, it's actually still an actual... Oh, my God. I had no idea. Nor does it even look like one.
That building we were in last night. Well, guess what, folks? We investigated it last night.
Yes.
More on that later. But, yeah, no, the current Saltair was built out of an airplane hangar.
I had no idea.
And then there's this grand staircase in there that wasn't originally part of the building, obviously, because it was an airplane hangar. This came from a hotel in like downtown Salt Lake from like the 1920s is when that staircase was built. That's the one the guy said, be careful on. You could fall and hurt yourself. Reason
being, because back then when these were built, there was no safety standards of how to build things or whatever. So these stairs are more shallow. They're only like, 10.5 inches, where most are 12 to 14. So when you're taking your steps down and everything or going up, you can easily miscalculate your stepping and totally eat shit.
Yes. This is 100% true. But yeah, so this one opened up. Well, they wanted to open it up.
Yeah, they tried.
Because like right after they built it, the place flooded.
Yeah, so there was a massive flood here in Salt Lake City in like 83, 84.
Yeah. And
yeah, that place was flooded out for years.
Like 5 feet of the main floor was just covered in water.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a lot of water.
So here's where we're at. So we've got at least three fires. And then, the lake started receding, so they had nowhere to swim. That was part of the problem why it couldn't stay open. And then here in the 80s, some 50 years later, the water comes back and it floods the Saltair. This is part of the reason why people say it's cursed.
For me, it's location.
Yeah, you built the damn thing on a lake. So,
a salt lake.
A salt
mine of a lake.
They kept trying to. Oh no! Quack. They've tried to run this place so many times. They finally got it up and running, I guess, in the 90s, late 90s. I remember I went to one of the first concerts when they finally reopened Saltair back up as a concert venue. Because like I said, during the 80s and 90s, I don't know what the original plan was, but in the 2000s, late 90s, 2000s, is when they decided to make it a concert venue. They put in a stage on the one side. I think they said there's standing room only. There's nowhere to sit. It's like I think on the top floor, though, if you're able to go up in the 21 and older, there's some tables and stuff. But
yeah, that's new. That wasn't there last time I was there. Those booths and the tables and everything. Yeah, there was nothing up there before.
They've been there for at least 8 or 9 years, though.
Yeah, it's been over a decade since the last time I was in there.
But I remember there's this group called Franz Ferdinand. They were I think the first band that came and performed there after they reopened it as a concert venue.
When they first reopened it, you know what they were using it for a lot? Raves.
Yeah,
and
I think they still do.
They still do. But back then, it was underground. Back in the late '90s, early 2000s.
I've seen Rob Zombie there.
I've seen a couple concerts there, but yeah, it's been a good decade since I've been.
Yeah, they still do concerts in there. The problem with this is again, you're 16, 17 miles outside of Salt Lake. There's so many concert venues here in Salt Lake.
But it's a massive one, and it's something that you can do indoor and outdoor, and it's not going to disrupt any other people, buildings, or neighbors in the
No, that
area.
is the nice thing because there is no residential areas
for
nearby.
a good 15 miles.
I mean, you're literally right next to Kennecott Copper Mine, so you're not going to really disturb the 24-hour copper mine.
Exactly.
Unlike USANA, that's built right in
the neighborhood
where they have a curfew. Saltair does not have the same thing.
So it is actually pretty cool for a big music event.
It is. I've seen some concerts there. It's pretty fun. The problem is it's just kind of out of the way, and you'd think at some point in time maybe they would have put up a paved parking lot instead of just the crappy dirt road they have.
Yeah, you'd think,
but they haven't. But yeah, it's COVID happened, and that kind of quashed things again too because it's kind of hard to social distance in a place that's think of general admission at a concert venue where you're just on the lawn. There's no assigned seating. So that's how Saltair is.
Yeah, and the building itself holds a capacity of 4,600.
Yeah,
and then you mix indoor outdoor venues, so you can have a shit ton of people there.
But they have events there now. Like I said, like you said, they do the
big raves
and stuff
the 2-3 day event raves.
Yeah,
will be out there.
So there's still events that go on there, but that's not what we're talking about. This place,
it's haunted. Well, actually, you know what? There has been some folklore from the very beginning of it. So let me get into this.
Even before it was 1870, right?
Yes. So there was actually a group of men back in 1877. They worked for the Barnes and Company of Salt Works. And they thought on a July evening in 1877, they reported seeing a huge creature with a crocodile-like body and a head of a horse. And it was in the water of the Great Salt Lake. It was said to make a fearsome bellowing noise as it charged the group of men who ran up a nearby hillside and hid until the morning light. The next day, when they returned to the area, they found a large overturned rocks and the ground along the shoreline was all torn up.
Interesting.
So back in 1877...
Or
Horsadile. And then these guys weren't the only ones to claim that there was a monster in the lake. A man known as Brother Bainbridge, he claims to have seen a monster with a dolphin. A monster was with a dolphin swimming in the lake near Antelope Island in the 1840s. And early Native Americans tell stories of water babies. Those are mermaids that sounded like crying babies. They lured their victims to the water only to be captured and drowned into the depths of the lake, never to be seen again.
Oh, damn, water babies.
So I've heard water babies as ghosts of babies, and I heard them as water creatures, like these things called calling them mermaids. But yeah, that's some folklore. Then there's actually a story of this guy named John Baptiste, which he got exiled to an island out there because he was working here in Salt Lake as a grave digger, and come to find out he was actually robbing the graves that he was putting the people in. After everyone was gone, and when he was in charge of putting their bodies down into the grave site, he'd actually take their clothes and take all their belongings out of the coffin and keep them for himself. And the only reason how he got caught was one of the bodies he buried, a family member had to unbury it and take the body somewhere else. When they exhumed that body, they found the body was turned upside down, or so he was no longer facing up, he was face down. All the clothes were gone, all the belongings were gone. Traced it back to this John Baptiste. They searched his house. He had all these dirty clothes from all these dead people and all their belongings in his house. So as punishment, they exiled him to an island out there, not the Antelope Island, but it was where was it? It was Fremont Island, I believe. But anyways, so he got exiled out there, and the only thing on that island was this old barn and some cattle. And people had gone out there to check on the cattle, and they reported seeing him out there on the island, so they knew he was still there. Another group went out there to check on him again, and he was no longer there. There was no trace of him. They couldn't find him. The cattle were there. The barn was there. They did notice that the barn was missing some of the wood, and they didn't know if he was using the wood for fire or if he used the wood to build a raft, but he was never seen again. And people claim they see a man walking along the shoreline of that island, but where there shouldn't be anybody.
Yeah.
So people claim they see a spirit there. They never found his remains, so it's a mystery. But anyways, those
he
are
probably drowned in the lake.
Either he drowned or he died, and they just didn't really bother looking for his body too hard.
Probably didn't care. They're like, fuck this grave robber.
The cattle probably ate it. They're probably real hungry.
That's how you get mad cow disease.
The cows eat themselves.
Gross.
But yeah, so that was some of the folklore there. And
the hell?
Oh, there's a car locking outside. But yeah, it was Fremont Island. That's the name of it. Fremont Island. Fremont Island.
Let's go there.
I don't think it's that haunted.
Probably not.
But tell you what is haunted: the Saltair.
The Saltair.
So we did investigate it last night. Thanks to M&L Paranormal for letting us join them and be a part of that investigation.
Yes, we really appreciate you. We look forward to working with them some more in the future.
Yes.
Because they asked us to.
Yes.
So that's what we do here in Utah. We build relations with the other paranormal teams, and we work together because we want a good, wholesome community.
A para-unity?
Para-community. Para-unity. Yes. So this is your first time there.
Yes, my first time investigating it, and I've been wanting to do this for years.
I know. I've been trying. Every time we saw a different company selling tickets,
they were sold out.
They sell out quick. I'm like, okay, I gotta wait till Friday when I get paid, which is like 2 days away. And in that 2 days, like they sell 25 tickets, and I'm just like, okay. So when I was looking for something for us to do last weekend, I saw that M&L was selling tickets, and we jumped right on it.
Right, because you're like, hey, I got the day off. Let's go do some spooky. You know who likes spooky stuff? Ghosty does.
Yes. Not that DVO guy.
No, he's so scared.
Yeah.
DVO's so scared.
So it's pretty much really open just because, again, it's a repurposed.
Yeah, imagine what an airplane hangar looks like.
Right.
But
So
they did build other little sections.
They've built some like VIP rooms. They built kind of like a second floor that goes all the way around the building. That has like tables and bars and stuff. They have like a
backstage.
They kind of like some VIP rooms and stuff. They have some rooms they call green rooms.
Yeah, the changing rooms, the backstage kick it areas.
Yeah. Some of those rooms are newer. Like I last time I've investigated Saltair was probably like 2018, 2019, somewhere in there. And
pre-COVID.
It's changed a little bit since the last time I was there. We actually had Brandy with us on an investigation, and there was this hallway on the second floor that there was like a kind of like a dressing room of sorts. And that's no longer there. They've like repurposed it and they turned it into bathrooms.
Yeah, it's it's still, I think it's still turning into a bathroom, or I don't know if they're still working on it or not, but
I don't know.
they
Had a water pipe burst on them like last week,
so we weren't allowed.
They closed off all the bathrooms, so I wasn't able to actually go in and see. But yeah, this room where we were investigating, and I looked in the mirror, and where Brandy was sitting, it almost looked like Samara, the ring
with the hair down.
Yeah. It looked like her sitting in the chair. It didn't look like Brandy. And I remember going over and asking her if she was okay, and she wasn't responding. And this is the first and only time I've ever wear shorts on an investigation, because I kind of put her like in a bear hug and sat down. So she was sitting in my lap, and she just leaned forward, and she's got these long acrylic nails, and she just dug them into my legs and just started scratching from my ankles to my knees before I finally like kind of had to give into the pain and I let go. And they had to tackle her, and they gave her a priesthood blessing. But we were all worried because there's like a door to the balcony right there to go outside. And we were worried that this whatever was manipulating her was going to try to pitch her off the edge.
Yeah, and now, like, I remember hearing that story before. Now, after seeing everything, I can, the picture was fully painted at that point.
So knowing that there's something not so good down this little hallway here, you had an experience. Well, we kind of both did.
Well, I actually didn't even know that that's the area you had talked about, and I didn't even remember that story at all.
No, not until I told you later.
Yeah, but we go down by that area. We weren't actually going to be investigating down there. It was just something that we were walking past.
Yeah.
And as we were passing, I definitely got some creepy vibes down there. And everybody had already gone. I kept kind of straggling away from the group a little bit. And so I'm kind of walking over there by myself, and I'm walking down that. They made it more of like a hallway that goes along the windows and that wall they built for the new bathrooms.
That hallway was there.
Oh, it was always there.
It was just the bathrooms weren't there. They basically turned
this area into a bathroom, and it's all the way at the end of the hall.
So there, the hallway that you went down, where there was like a little sitting room and there was kind of like two bathrooms there.
Yeah.
There used to be a room, like walking down the hallway to your left, there was a door there. And then there was a room in there. That's where all the incident went down. You got the creepy vibes. Yeah. We did walk all the way around to the other side. And we kind of started investigating. Some people in our group weren't feeling well. So our group leader took them outside. And that's when we broke loose to do our own thing. So you would actually wandered back over there. So before you do this, you're standing there talking to me. We're at the top of the grand staircase, which is opposite of where this hallway is. Mm-hmm. And as we're sitting there talking, I look over and I saw I saw a full body, like, shadow person standing in that hallway, and I saw them duck down into the hall. And I pointed it out, and then you started looking over, and you could see them keep like poking their head out, yeah?
Yeah, I was seeing something, out there, and I already had that creepy vibe over there already, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm going back. And I went back over there, and I was setting up machines. Nothing was setting it off, but I'd looked down that hallway into where the sitting area was, right where the bathroom doors are, and I could see some type of energy right there. And I would walk down about halfway, and what I would see wouldn't be there anymore, but I would get the creep so bad. And I don't get scared on investigations. Nothing scares me on investigations. I just got this really creepy vibe, and I'm like, I don't want to walk all the way down there. I'm just creeped out for some reason. And then that's when you had told me that that's the area where that whole thing happened with Brandy. And I was like, oh, shit.
You were by yourself over there, and it looked like at one point you were coming back over to rejoin the group. And after a little bit, like, I'm on the other side. I kind of felt like there was a spirit that was like agitated. It felt like they were leaning up against the bar, like they were waiting to be served. And they were agitated that no one was paying attention to them. Mm-hmm. And so I set up my REM pod there for some of the other people that were in our group. And I just got this feeling that like something wasn't right with you. Like, so I decided to come check on you. And I walk all the way around to where you're at and found you. And that's when you told me that you were starting to get that creepy vibe. I'm like, yeah, I kind of felt like something was up because, like, one, you didn't come back, and I'm like, but which is normal. Like, we investigate and separate all the time, and something just didn't feel right, so I came to check on you, and that's when you started telling me everything that you were seeing.
Yeah, and you came over, and you could sense that energy too, and I'd get down there, I could feel it at a certain point, and then all of a sudden it felt like it was gone. And I went all the way down there, I felt like whatever was there wasn't there anymore. I start coming back up the hallway, and all of a sudden, boom, I get to a certain spot, and it just full creep factor. And then that's when you're telling me that's where that door used to be.
Well, the thing is, like, we went back to that later. We ditched our group again. We were supposed to be on the main floor. We ditched our group and went back to that hallway. And that's when you walked down. You actually went down there, down the end of the hall. And you said you felt something. Mm-hmm. And then you started coming back. And you literally paused and stopped right in front of where the door used to be. And you're like, this is where the door was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I felt that bad. It was like strong. It felt like whatever was down there saw me coming down and like disappeared or went somewhere else because I couldn't feel its presence anymore. And so my guess is it went back into that area where the new bathrooms are being built. And I get right to where that door was. I'm like, holy shit, it's back. It's right here. And I'm like, is this where that door used to be? And you're like, yep. I'm like, holy shit. But yeah, that feeling, that was super creepy. And I will tell you something today. I started watching some other people that investigated there on YouTube. I was watching this one guy's video, and he was there. He kind of arrived to this investigation a little late, and he was just kind of wandering by himself. And he was saying how he wasn't feeling anything creepy in there. And then he got to that little hallway to the bathroom, and he stopped. And he's like, something's weird here. He's like, I haven't had the creeps at all here, and this I feel really weird here. And as he was using an app thing, and I'm not a fan of that. But he kept mentioning, and what he thought was super strange about that was he had just texted somebody how he was investigating that place and how he's all alone, and the words that came up on his device or on the app said "all alone."
Interesting.
I thought that was pretty cool. I'm not a fan of those app-based ones like that he was using.
Neither am I.
But I thought that was actually pretty cool. But in that he actually did feel that something was there in that exact same spot. So just kind of definitely could feel something right there. And not a lot of people I haven't heard anybody else mention that about having any creeps in that area.
Yeah, I've been to that place probably like 4 or 5 times before. We've talked a little bit about it when we had Paul on, and we talked about how Paul and I and Caden and the other guy we were with all saw something fall from the ceiling. And I still remember everyone said they saw a ball of light, and to me it looked like a veil, like a piece of cloth falling. Mm-hmm. I've had a lot of experiences there. I've gotten names there through the Echo Box. Last night, the first group that was upstairs told us they got a name through their spirit box.
Oh, yeah. Oh, before we get into the name stuff, while you mentioned that, like, will look like a wedding veil, or I know you didn't watch the Ghost Adventures when they went there.
Or just a little bit.
There was a little bit of evidence that was actually really pretty cool.
They were freaking out in the bathroom because their tri-film meter was going off.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I got a weird thing. In that same section of the bathroom, I rewatched it today. That's the exact same spot that I was telling you about.
I noticed that too. That's where I stopped watching. Well, this is like the first 10 minutes because I was like, I want to go through some of my audio to see if I have any EVPs so I could play for you guys. And guess what?
We got some. That's coming up later.
I haven't gone through all of my audio yet, so I'm going to play for the 2 that I think for sure are EVPs. I had a third one, but I wasn't sure if it was me or if it was an actual spirit.
So the veil thing that you're talking about, there was a piece of evidence that they caught while they were using the thermal camera, and Zach was holding that, and he was like looking in a mirror with it. And as he was pointing this thing at a mirror, this thing that they said it looked like a head. To me, it looked almost like a jellyfish. Okay. And it's only in the reflection of the mirror, and it shoots across the mirror in front of him. So it was the reflection in the mirror, and nobody was behind Zach. Nobody was in front of Zach. And this thing just kind of floats, and it's only visible in the mirror only. So it's a reflection of something. Yeah. And it's pretty damn good. It almost kind of has like this, I don't know, it kind of almost looks like a sheeted ghost going sideways. Okay. Or like a jellyfish doing that, but that piece of evidence was actually really damn cool, as well as another piece of evidence they caught, which was this port window on the 3rd floor, and they're all standing outside talking, and Billy sees something in the window. He sees something shot across the window from the inside. So they checked their cameras, and they actually had a camera pointing at that window, and they actually did catch something going across the window from the inside. It almost looked like a lit up face almost, is what it kind of looked like to me. But do you remember when I kept telling you when I'd look up, when we were standing before we started investigating, we would look up to the upstairs from down below us. Yeah. And I kept seeing what looked like, energy shooting, like people, like their heads kind of there and just going one side to one side and another. Like I would see one thing move over and another thing move over and one go the other way. But to me, what they captured on camera is what it looked like to me. It's just like a light colored, just like the head thing and just shooting off from one side to another.
Yeah, you were being responsible and listening to the group leader and the guy that works there at Saltair giving us like the rundown of like the place and what's there and what's possibly not there. And I'm sitting there like pointing out to you. I'm like, hey, do you feel that energy up there?
Well, I was kind of already.
I felt like someone was standing there watching us.
I think there was a lot of things standing there watching us. Actually,
probably.
I even felt that when we were getting ready to go, and that from the other side watching us.
Most likely.
But anyways,
there's a lot of spirits there.
Yeah, there's way more than just the one that's famous. They talk about is Saltair Sally. And the reason why they talk about this is because there was some duck hunters that were out in the area who found a suitcase, and they open up the suitcase, and what's inside? Body parts. And the DNA test come to find out it's this person who I think it was her stepdad or something who murdered her, put her in a suitcase, threw her out, and then killed himself. And it was months till somebody found her body. So it was badly decayed. It was right by the Saltair. And so after that was found, I guess people started just correlating the ghosts that were already in the building and calling them Sally's, thinking that her ghost is haunting there, which I highly doubt she's there. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think she's there anymore. She was there years ago when I investigated, but I don't think she's still there because I remember actually talking to her.
I would just have a hard time thinking why her spirit would want to be at the Saltair. I mean, unless she was killed in that area. I would think either her ghost would be where she was killed or in a place that she loved or that she's used to or knows. Yeah. Not some random building in a place that she would not know or have any relationship to.
The thing is, because this place is just like, there's nothing around it. I mean, it's literally built on the lake pretty much. It's out in the middle of nowhere. The tour guide on the Ghost Adventures episode said they find like 1 to 2 bodies in the area a year. I just know, like in the past when I've done research on this place, at the time I was doing research, there was like someone that jumped off of the overpass onto I-80, which is like right there. There's like a little pond that is in front of Saltair. People are found dead in there all the time. It's like a popular like dropping ground for bodies, just because like you can throw a body in the lake, right? And the salt's gonna eat away any evidence, any DNA or anything.
And the horsedile will get you.
The horsedile, yeah. So I mean, there's bodies that are constantly being dropped there. I believe there was I want to say like a disabled person that was also ditched there at one point.
Jesus. Not only that, there's a lot of car crashes on I-80 right there.
This is true.
So there's a lot of it's high speed traffic on that freeway right there.
You get high winds in that area. Especially.
High winds, and then if you keep going on that freeway for another hour, you'll run into a city called Wendover, which is known for gambling. It's right on the border of Utah and Nevada, so they got some casinos right there, and that's the highway or the freeway you take to get there. So if you get people coming back there from there back to Salt Lake, been drinking all night or haven't slept yet and drowsy driving, that's a lot of accidents happen because of that right there.
Yes,
along that whole freeway. But
there's a lot of death in the area.
Yes. So
possible reasons why this place is haunted.
Exactly. Not only that, but there's people that die at the events there too.
This is true.
There's ODs that happen at some of the raves. There's probably been people just dying of other causes at other concerts as well. But a lot of tragedy has happened there at events. So you got that going on. You got a lot of energy coming out of that place because of those events. So might attract more spirits that are just kind of wandering the freeway anyways.
Can I tell you a story that I don't remember where I heard it. I can't remember if it was from one of the tour guys when I first investigated there or if it was on one of those documentaries on YouTube. But on that 3rd floor, we did the Estes method.
Yes, we did.
So in that room that we were in, you don't know this. I don't think I've ever told you this. There were some caretakers at the time. I want to say in the 90s, maybe early 2000s.
I did find out by watching some videos today that there were caretakers that lived in the building.
Yeah.
Okay. And I just found that out earlier today.
So there is rumors of a demonic presence in the Saltair.
Okay.
There was a couple, and I think some of the names that came through on the Echo box when you were doing the Estes method are the names of those caretakers.
So the name that she's talking about, I remember. I thought they were just people that.
Did they tell you the
worked.
name? Did you get the names of the?
Yes, and I thought you were mentioning that because they worked, or the wife worked at the gift shop. I didn't know that they were the caretakers that actually lived there.
Well, so you said like 6 names or 7 names when you were doing the Estes method. But when you were doing your research today, did they say the names of the caretakers?
No, they didn't say the names. They just mentioned that that's the area they talked about them living, kind of where they were building those new bathrooms, or where we were
so
about.
this was upstairs on the 3rd floor.
So I just found out today that in that area where the wall was, the area that were
So the creepy hallway, this is right above it.
Yeah, so I heard that area where those new bathrooms are, there's something to do with them living in there, or they had something of theirs.
Yeah, they lived on the 3rd floor, right above that hallway.
Okay.
In that room where we did the Estes method.
Okay.
That's where they lived.
Okay, so
that's why I wanted to do the Estes method in that room.
Okay.
There was a certain reason why I wanted to do
that. That was their bedroom.
That was their bedroom, yes.
Ah.
So, I can't remember. I want to say you got like 6 or 7 names. So a couple of the names that came through, there was Paul and Liz.
I mentioned Liz a lot. That kept coming through.
And you mentioned Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if these are the actual caretakers or not. These are just some of the names you got. So the story that I was told is those caretakers, while they were living there, one night they woke up to being, they were being abused by an inhuman entity.
Well, they woke up to it?
They woke up to it.
Like just wake them getting beat up?
They were experiencing something that rhymes with grape.
Oh. Shakes,
yes. But it wasn't just the woman that experienced it. It was the man too. They were both being violated by this thing
at the same time.
I don't know if it was at the same time or it was one after the other, but they were both violated by it, is what the story goes.
Interesting.
Which is why I wanted to do the Estes method in that room.
Okay.
So you actually there was several times where you said the number 5, and then I was counting, and you listed off about 5 names. I think there was a couple more that came through. One of them, I wasn't sure. There was 2 I wasn't sure that were names. So I'll just get those out of the way. You did say Milton's and Rich, but I'm not 100% sure those were names. So going back and listening to the audio, so you had Liz, you had Paul, you had Samantha, I believe. You had Chris and you had Steven. Mm-hmm. And you said 5 a lot. So
yeah, and then I remember the Chris. I heard another one that said Christine,
which is most likely the same person.
So yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking that might have been the same person, and it was just correcting the name. So no, we weren't thinking a guy. Maybe, I don't know.
And then I'll have to go through my audio. I can put this up on YouTube a little bit later, but I do know that you were talking about stuff having to do with like drowning in a river.
Yeah, and there was some things that said so fast, and it was actually, I could hear words, but it was just too hard to put it together, and more things were happening, more things were being said. So,
like, we're using the Echo Box.
Yes.
And what I thought was interesting is before we went up there, the group that was there before us told us they got a name through their Spirit Box. So they were using like the SP7. We're using the Echo Box app. And one of the names that I just mentioned, they also got on their device. Like I said, we weren't using the same device. I was using Echo Box, which is an app. And I know we will.
Yeah, and this app isn't a ghost detecting app. It's just a scrambling of words and sounds.
It's just a way to create white noise.
Yes.
Just like a Spirit Box is. The difference is I can put my phone on airplane mode, and I'm not getting any radio frequencies or anything like that. It's just basically, I think the way the app worked is from what I understand, is they chopped up Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven.
Yeah, there's about 10 different people who read it. They take their voices, and you can chop it up and scramble it and reverse it. So I like to make things, so where you can't make words out of their voices. It's just it's just scrambled, and it's just short sections of voices. And if they're able to manipulate and make one voice say words or multiple words with one voice. It's actually pretty impressive because it shouldn't do that while it's chopped and mixed that way.
Right. So we were able to get the same name on the Echo Box that they did on their Spirit Box, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know we had someone else try the SS method, and she wasn't getting as much, or she wasn't saying as much as you did. I put it on, and I just almost instantly started hearing, like, I heard Liz come through. Mm-hmm. So I just started hearing, like, leave, and it was like right in a row. It was like leave, 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 go, leave. And I'm like, I opened my eyes up because I didn't put the blindfolds on. I just put the headphones on and turned my back to everybody. I look up and, take the headphones off, and I turn around and, like, everybody's gone. I'm just standing in this room by myself, and I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, I have most of that on audio. I actually have the whole thing on audio, so I'll get some of that up on our YouTube when I can. That was probably one of the more interesting parts of the night.
Yeah, the very beginning of the night, we started things off in those green rooms in the backstage areas for the performers.
In the Marilyn Manson room.
Yeah, so the Marilyn Manson room, they call it the Manson room because Marilyn Manson requests that area for himself whenever he performs here, and he had them paint the room black.
Yeah.
So that's, Marilyn Manson, that's what he does. But I heard this one story that somebody told today, and it came from the person who told the story. We don't put a lot of credibility in this guy. But anyways, the story.
I wonder who you're talking about.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyways, he told this other person. This person's the one that said it.
Before you get too far into this person has been. We
know
people that have worked with him, and he fabricates evidence.
Well, he's an illusionist.
He is.
To begin with. So anyways,
I'm not going to mention his name. I know that he's not credible.
Yeah. So anyways, this person told this guy that Marilyn Manson requested some hieroglyphic style things being painted on the wall before painting it black. I don't know why. I don't know why he would request that, and nor do I think he even did.
No,
I think it's just more of the storytelling to creep things out or make things seem like there could be evil things present there that aren't, just to create more excitement out of people.
I think so. I think there's a lot to the storytelling.
Yeah. So I don't think there's anything painted on those walls to attract anything more to that area, because I actually wasn't feeling much in that area to begin with. But we did actually get some activity on your REM pod. So
yeah. So in the little seating rooms that are outside of that dressing room, I always feel more activity out there. I thought it was interesting that when the group split up the first time, they went down one hallway because they wanted to investigate this beeping noise they were hearing. And you, myself, and another person in our group took the time to split up and actually do our own thing. Mm-hmm. That's when we started having activity on the REM pod. The people went down the one hallway to go investigate the beeping noise. You, I, and this girl that was with us had all walked into
a bigger room.
One of the two bigger rooms. And we're all standing. So I have my REM pod on the other side of the room by itself. And I'm standing in the room by the doorway. She walks in, you walk in, and the REM pod goes off. Mm-hmm. And no one's near it. And then I believe we actually, I had it set up. We walked into the other room.
Yeah, the room next to it, left the REM pod.
To it, we left the REM pod. So at this point, there's no one in the room with the REM pod. And that thing just started going off like crazy.
Mm-hmm. I did actually I was looking for bugs. I was looking to see if a moth was in the area, because, that thing lighting up and a moth running into the antenna, that could be a possibility.
I didn't even think of that, because, there were bugs flying around, and I bet you anything if a bug did land on the antenna, it could make it do what it did. Because, if you get close to the antenna, it will start to light up and beep. But if you, hold on to this antenna, it will stay at red and just blare. Long blaring beep, and that's what it did. Someone was holding on to.
So I don't know if you noticed when it would go off. Sometimes I'd put my light on it just to see if I could see something fluttering around there, or while it's going off, if I could see something fly away from it. Nothing. I didn't see any bugs. I didn't see nothing flying around. There were bugs outside, but even at that point, it got so dark and cold, there wasn't anything flying around at that point.
Oh, we had the REM pod was going off. I think at one point when you were doing the S's method, you didn't say it, but I heard "shut up" come through the headphones.
Really?
Yeah, because I think you were like starting to take them off. Like I had you stop for at one point the two-way radios that the team that M&L was using to kind of communicate with each other started going off like crazy, and we ended up thinking it might have been like some nearby truckers. We happened to be on the same radio frequency, but the radios were going off like crazy, and so I had you stop for a second because I wasn't sure what was going on. And as soon as I had you stop, that's when the REM pod started going off again.
Yeah, I did remember that going off when I took my headphones off.
I'm like, oh, what? You're mad that I had them stop? So now you're going to play the REM pod? So we did have quite a bit of REM pod activity throughout the...
No K2. No, it did go off in one room towards the end.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, the K2 was not going off. So there was no electricity disturbance in there. There was no wires that were creating any electrical interference and creating the K2s to go off. And so I did like how the K2s are actually very good in there, because if you were going to get activity on your K2, it's definitely not interference.
So the two EVPs I do have are from towards the beginning of the night. I haven't made it through all of my audio yet. I do remember when we were on our third rotation, when we were on the basement, you did feel that energy in the bathroom, in the women's bathroom.
I didn't even know where the women's bathroom was that they talked about, because they mentioned the women's bathroom, how there's a women's bathroom that they're going to leave open to investigate. But I just kind of wandered to this one corner because something was drawing me to this corner. And I get over to that corner and I see the bathroom there, and the plastic sheet covering the entrance was kind of pulled back a little bit.
Yeah.
So I asked an employee, "Well, is this the bathroom that we're allowed to investigate?" And he said, "Yeah." And I kind of asked him, "Have you ever had activity in here?" And he was kind of saying about people feeling weird stuff in there or whatever. And we walk in there, and I get drawn to this one area, just directly right in front of me, all the way to the back, and then to the right. So straight back to the right, that's where I'm feeling stuff. And I get over there. I don't know why I was getting drawn over there, because when I got there, I wasn't feeling anything anymore.
Yeah.
But
well, you came and grabbed me, and I went in there, and I'm like, yeah, I don't feel anything.
Yeah, but I was telling you how I was feeling it, and it was drawing me to this area. And after I get there, it's like nothing's here. I don't feel anything. I don't know why it drew me here. But then watching that Ghost Adventures episode today, that's where they were. That's right where they went to, and that's where they were getting activity on their.
Yep.
I was like, fucking cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. One more thing before we get into the EVPs. There was one of the newer green rooms on the bottom. After we went to the bathroom together.
That's what guys do.
Yeah. We went and found our group because, we kept wandering off on our own. We're like, let's go check in with the group. And they're off in some little green room on the side. There was like a smaller room. Like there's a hallway that goes into kind of a bigger room, but in the hallway there was like a smaller room off to the side. I felt energy in that room, so I set up my REM pod in there. And we did get some activity in the REM pod in that room. Her laser grid, they had going there. I guess the batteries died, so I put up my laser grid. And when I went and grabbed my laser grid, you had actually left the room.
Yeah, me being me, I left the room by myself. I walked into that room that you talked about off to the side, the smaller one, because I did feel something could be there too. When I went in there, I didn't feel anything anymore, and off to the side a little bit more.
Oh, that was a different side room. So that was outside. There was the hallway that went into the room that we were all sitting in.
Okay, yeah.
Well, when you're walking down the hall, there was the room off to the right.
Yes.
That's where I was sitting there getting my laser grid out. You completely left that little hallway. And then there was another room.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. This room next to it, not the room attached to the room next to that room. I went in there thinking I was
feeling something. So as you came out the hallway, you turned right.
Yes.
Okay. And that's where the other room was. And then next to that room, there was
like a
kind
warehouse,
of a big
opening like a bay door and storage area.
And then behind that, there was like another door that went actually behind the room that everybody was sitting in. I believe that's where you were.
Yeah, I was kind of back there.
I had finished setting up my laser grid because the other one had died. And one of the people in our group actually saw someone walk from the left to the right.
Thinking it was me.
Thinking it was you.
And I heard you calling me, and then I yelled back, and I came back around from where I was, and you asked if I walked or if I was there the whole time. And yeah, I had not gone out of that and walked back the other way, so what she saw was not me.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, great, someone's following me, checking me out.
We looked around and we couldn't find there was no other person. I mean, there shouldn't have been anybody else because our entire group was in that room except for you. So yeah, we kind of validated it for her. We're like, yeah, this is you most likely saw a spirit walk by.
Yeah, because it sure wasn't me.
So that was cool.
A lot of people were seeing some stuff. You got to see that one shadow figure. I was seeing more of energy than I was seeing shadow figures.
Yeah, I was full body like shadow figure just standing in that hallway looking at us. And you could tell because there were lights from the outside that kind of lit that up. Mm-hmm. I could see a person standing there. And we knew you went over there. We're watching the whole time. So we would have been able to see if someone dip down the hallway or something.
Yeah, that's why I was like, fuck it, I'm going over there.
So, yeah, it was pretty cool. We saw quite a bit last night. And the thing with Saltair is I always get something. I'm always getting something on the Echo Box. I'm always seeing something. There's always something going on there.
And with that many people there, because there was, like you said, 20-something people?
Yeah, about that.
And breaking up into 3 groups the way we didn't really cross anybody ever. Even with me branching away from, and you and I branching away from
yeah, when we ran from our group and we went to the second floor when we were supposed to be on the main floor.
Yeah,
we still didn't run into the group that was supposed to be on the second floor.
Because they were on the 3rd floor the whole time.
This is true.
Yeah, so we pretty much still kept the whole 2nd floor to ourselves, and we found another VIP area.
We found a VIP room and we went and investigated there in a little bit.
Because we're VIPs.
This is true.
But no activity back there.
Not really, no.
No, I wasn't really feeling much. I was hoping something would show up.
You're let's go back to the creepy hallway.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go back to the creepy hallway.
And that's when you felt the...
Yeah, and that's when because I was really wanting to get over the creep feeling. I'm like, I don't get scared on investigation. Why the hell is this creating this weird creepy thing where I didn't want to finish walking all the way down at one point? It was creepy when I was by myself. I was by myself and I was going down the hallway and something was telling me not to. Someone was pulling me away from there. And I think that's when you got the feeling to come over because I was still by myself at this point.
Yep.
And then it was soon after that you came over and I was telling you what the hell I was experiencing.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm here because I felt like something wasn't right. So here I am. So both of these EVPs I'm going to play for you now.
Okay. Where were these at?
These were both, this is the beginning of the night. So these were both in that little...
green room, Manson area?
The Manson area room. So somewhere in there. This first one, you can hear the voice of one of the women that was in our group. She said something about last time that she was there, she talked to a little girl, I believe. So I'll go ahead and just play that. And we'll pretend my volume's all the way up.
Last time I was here, I talked to someone in this room. Any chance you're still here?
I heard a little whisper, a little girl whisper.
You want me to play it again?
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry, that started playing the next one. So here's the first one again. So I got
right after she finishes talking, you hear a little girl whisper, or a girl whisper.
Last time I was here, I talked to someone in this room. Any chance you're still here?
Like,
yeah, I don't know what it says, but
I don't know if it says Aaliyah, or play it again.
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure this is an EVP because
nobody was whispering.
Nobody was whispering. If somebody did whisper,
they called it out.
I have that on audio where you whispered and I yelled at you for whispering.
I didn't realize I was just talking really low, but yeah, it was a total whisper.
I'm like, don't look and don't whisper. So if I was around and I heard whispering, I called it out. So the fact that I don't say anything, you can hear the other person just finish talking and I don't say anything.
Last time I was here, I talked to someone in this room. Any chance you're still here?
That's a good catch.
So that was actually, I think that was right towards the beginning of the recording. I think it was like maybe 15 minutes. No, I think
that was towards the end of our green room investigation portion when we were at that table. And so everybody joined us. Everybody joined us at the table?
So I have the timer on my audio recording.
So it's still really beginning.
So this was within the first 15 minutes.
Okay, yeah. So we weren't at that area.
Because I have my audio recorder set up to go 15-minute increments. It was at least, if not the first 15 minutes, it was in the first half an hour. Okay. So it would have been in one of those rooms most likely. And then this next one would have been in that same area. and I know what I think it says. I'm going to play it for you a couple times. I want to hear what you think it says. So, let me start it here. Stupid phone.
That's a sentence. Play it again.
So
is
it's
that as loud as it is? Is that as loud as it goes?
Yeah, that's as loud as it goes. So it's what I hear is like right at the very end of it.
I can hear her talking.
Yeah, I hear that now. Like it starts.
There's
before.
a lot. She's saying a lot, and it's a full sentence.
So I'm gonna play it one more time.
Roses, blah blah blah. Room. Roses. This is a room. I don't. I gotta listen to that more. Holy shit! There's a lot. What?
There's a lot going on there, so I thought it said your name at the very end.
Oh, play it again.
So now that I've said it, that's what you're gonna hear, though.
I don't hear my name.
Okay, well,
or did I say that before she said it?
No, the very last thing you hear. That last.
Oh, the very, very end when it goes quiet?
So, right before it goes quiet.
Okay.
So. Right before she says this time, there's a.
See, and there was a lot more before that.
Yeah, I didn't pick
You
up on
didn't
that
catch
before.
that? Oh
No,
my God, there was a lot.
The only thing I picked up on when I was listening to the audio recording was that last little bit where to me it sounded like it said your name. I wasn't sure. I put a question mark on it, but I'm pretty sure that's an EVP.
That's definitely an EVP, and she starts talking halfway through that clip.
This is true.
And she's being talked over, so yeah, you gotta I want to analyze that one some more. That's pretty cool.
Well, that is in the group chat, so you can listen to it whenever you want.
Okay.
So those are the two that I found so far. There was a third one where I thought I found one. I'm playing with the REM pod. It sounds like someone goes, "Stop." And then right after I hear myself say, "That was me." And I don't know. I don't remember if I was talking about it was me that set off the REM pod or if I'm the one that said stop.
Also, at the same time, there was a person in the group who was also getting very annoyed when it would go off because she was like, "Oh, it's blaring at me, it's yelling at me."
This is true.
And so, if it was going off, I mean, there's a possibility. Just she was probably saying it to herself. Stop.
It sounded like a male voice.
Interesting.
The stop was a male's voice. So again, I didn't send that one. I'm not playing it. I'm just going to talk about it real quick because
it's inconclusive.
I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure that I'm fairly positive the two that I played are actual EVPs. Otherwise, I wouldn't be playing them. But as you can see, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if it's an EVP or not. Very possible that it was me that said stop. I don't know. So I'm not going to play that. I'm not going to play something that if I'm not sure, I'm not going to send it to you guys.
Yeah, but we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
Damn sure we will.
There's a chance I have one, but...
And there's still probably some more because there's still some more audio.
Yeah, I still have an hour and a half to 2 hours of audio to go through. And then I realized I got a ton of audio from other investigations. And yes, Nicole, I am aware that you will help if I ask you to. But yeah, that was pretty much our night last night.
I had a good time. I definitely would like to go back. It would be pretty cool if we had the place to ourselves for a night.
Which I've had before.
I know, and I was invited and I couldn't go, and I'm really mad about it. But I'm glad at least I still made it there, and I got to investigate, and I did get some activity, and I do want to go back. And I think maybe we should probably do our own investigations there for the public.
Yeah, now that we know the pricing, it is a possibility that we can go there in the future.
It is going to be one of the higher ticket ones like what we did.
It will be at least $50.
Yeah. So,
and that's not just because we're trying to be greedy.
It's because of the cost of the venue.
That is the cost of the venue.
Yeah.
Honestly, $50 would probably not make any money off of it.
No, I mean, as long as we are able to get the place and not have to, pay for out of our own pocket for people to go there and break even, that's totally cool.
Yeah.
But definitely want to go there again. Definitely want to probably do some investigations there of our own, and more to come soon.
So I think it meets the criteria.
It definitely.
This building itself,
Not
I don't
100
know.
years old.
It's not 100 years old, but the story begins over 100 years ago. So it
land
meets
itself.
the EVP criteria. It's haunted.
It is haunted.
If you would like to follow us, though, on social media, you can check us out at evp.pod at Instagram and Facebook, where you can find awesome videos of DVO doing reactions of videos that he's found online.
I got a good video that he's going to react to this coming week.
Oh, this is true. I've seen this video.
It's cool shit.
Someone sent it to me.
It's cool shit, right?
This one, yeah, it is very cool, and it's hard to, I don't know how to debunk it.
Me neither. And that's why I'm excited to...
Yeah, you were like the second person to send me that video. So this is a fairly recent one, too, I believe. That just happened in Colorado.
Yeah, very cool, very recent. Also, guys, we have an affiliate link for Ghost Stop. So if you're going to do some ghost hunting and you want to buy some equipment, click our link, get your equipment that way, and help fund our ghost yacht.
Yeah, you should be able to find that link on Facebook and Instagram. If you click on our Linktree link, it's in there. Also, while you're there, why don't you go ahead and buy a ticket? This will be the last episode you hear us talk about Benson Grist Mill, because it is this coming Friday.
Yeah.
October 20th.
How many tickets are left?
I believe there's like not 8.
Yeah, less than 10.
So there's less than 10.
So hurry up, get your tickets, and this will be a good one.
And we've already sold quite a bit. And the nice thing is with how big this venue is, that's another one where you probably won't run into people.
Yeah, and one thing we'll do, we don't do groups. You know, you guys can.
We're just gonna let you fend for yourselves.
Well, I mean, you know how to handle yourselves.
Bring your own gear. Yeah, I know how to handle myself.
But we are there for you if you have questions or need help with us. If anything, we are there. We can help show you how to use stuff, show you where things are. You know, all the norms.
I might buy something.
Yeah, help you buy something.
No, I'm gonna buy something.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna buy a new piece of gear. Well, we can also test out the ANC Mini more.
Yeah,
so we can do an actual review.
Yeah, we actually didn't even pull that out last night.
No, we didn't.
We didn't pull it out at all last night.
I think the reason is because we got grouped up with people.
Yeah, same thing. It's like I don't want to sit there and be a show for somebody. I want to investigate.
Yeah, same here. So
because we paid, damn it.
This is true.
So, we will play with the ANC Mini some more here at Benson Grist and get some more reviews on that, and get some more equipment and get more reviews.
This will be the last of our public hunts this year.
Maybe.
All 3 of them that we did this year.
No, I think we did more. We did more in the beginning.
No, we did. We did 3 this year.
Well, we'll do more next year.
Oh, that sounds like a plan.
All right, guys, go so you don't play that.
Peace out, butterflies.
This is the EVP Podcast.